QuickBooks Pro Plus Desktop 2022 OneNote presentation, customized shortcuts and homepage icons. Let's get into it with Intuit's QuickBooks Pro Plus Desktop 2022. Here we are in OneNote. If you have access to OneNote, would like to follow along, you're not required to, but if would like to, we're in the icon left-hand side, the Topic Introduction tab, 1460, Customized Shortcut and Homepage Icons tab. Also note, when using OneNote, take a look at the Immersive Reader tool, Topic Introductions. Also in the text area, same name, same number, but with transcripts that can be translated into multiple different languages and either listened to or read in them. Same name and number will also be found in the presentations, topic introductions designed to give an introduction to the topic, provide accounting background where applicable, noting that the screenshots in the topic introductions can be used to follow along with the presentations if you would rather not open up or don't have access to the QuickBooks software. Closing the icon on the left-hand side, we're looking at the customized shortcuts and homepage icons. First screenshot is the homepage. In prior presentations, we've been going through the flows on the homepage. Vendor, customers, will go through the employees shortly. Then we took a look at the other information, the company section and the banking section, which don't always fit into a nice flow, but QuickBooks sees as important, and therefore they put the icons on the right-hand side. So now we want to think about some customization. There's many different ways you can get into the same thing within QuickBooks. The homepage is a nice look and visual feel to get into those things. The other most common way would be the drop downs up top. Those would often be faster ways to get into these items, because the drop down is always there. Even if the homepage is not open, you don't have to toggle back to it each time. If you go to the edit item and you go to the preferences at the bottom down here, you can look at the desktop preferences. So you got the desktop preferences. We're going into the company preferences. That's going to give us your information on the icons that you will see on the home page. So possibly you want to go through further customization of those items. Note down below, these items on the home page will be toggled on or off depending on the settings that you will set up when you enter the information into the setup process, typically happening when you create the company file. In other words, the estimates will show up on the home page up top here if you're using estimates, indicating that the estimates are turned on. The sales tax, same kind of thing, meaning do you have sales tax? If you do, that icon will then be there if that functionality is on. Same with inventory, same with payroll and the time tracking. This item, the sales receipt up top, and the statement and statement changes are items that you possibly could then uncheck that are over and above without, in essence, turning off the ability to use a sales receipt, but just taking it off the home page, which could be useful if you're using the home page for other people, for example, they're using it and you don't want them to mistake, say, an invoice for a sales receipt. So if you were to uncheck that, the sales receipt, for example, you'll notice this icon where the sales receipt once was has now disappeared, which could make it easier if you're trying to assign a flow of tasks and you only have invoices. You don't want that on the home page to help people out not to choose the wrong thing. If you choose these items down below, then you're actually going to be turning off the function to remove it from the home page. So if you go to the jobs, for example, and you say you don't have estimates, so if I clicked on this estimates here, in other words, it would take me to the jobs and estimates away from the desktop view. If I turned off the estimates, we would then have no estimates tab on the left-hand side, removing it. If we go back into the preferences tab and we did the similar kind of process here for the sales tax, saying I don't have sales tax, then if you clicked on that, that would remove the sales tax item. Same for the inventory. If I clicked on the inventory and removed the checks for the inventory, then that whole top row would disappear because we wouldn't have the inventory in this vendors section. And you can also then customize the icon bar. So we can customize, in essence, the icon bar on the left-hand side. So I'm looking at the my shortcuts items. So this is customizing the bar related to it. And just realize that one way you could customize it is to go into those items and add and subtract them. In a prior in the presentation, I removed a lot of the shortcuts that had been in there by default because I think it's overwhelming. Oftentimes people would then take this and put it up top And that's another nice place to see, although I don't like doing that because then you can't get to toggling over to the open windows, which I really like to have open most of the time. But I've seen a lot of people that like to have this item up top with their customized location bars up top. You can add these locations by going this way and adding them, or you can basically find the form that you want to add. So if I wanted to basically add this particular form, whatever this is, I can't see the name of it, but if I wanted to add it, it's a general journal, then I can basically go into it and then basically add it here and say I want to add this to my shortcuts after I go into the form. You could do that possibly. We might want to do that, say, for like a check register. You could go into the check register and say, I'd like to add this check register specifically for the checking account to my icons so that it would then show up basically up top in the icon. So there's two ways that you can add them up here. You can, you can sort and add them from the checklist for the items, adding and subtracting them, or you could find the thing that you want to add up top. And then once you found it, an invoice, a bill, the check register, and it's something that you use often and you're finding possibly that it's a bit far down to get to. In other words, if you got to go to a drop down, it's way at the bottom, or a journal entry, it's kind of in a funny place or something like that, then you could find that item and then once in it, add it then to the taskbar up top. When you do so, it'll ask you to add a label to it and the label and the description, and then you can put that up top and get to it a little bit faster.